Well, hi there, how's everybody doing? I myself am a happy camper today because I have just acquired Michael Crichton's Dragon Teeth, which I look forward to reading, and I'm currently about 100 or so pages into Michael Crichton's Micro, which this is his, as far as I understand it, very last book, though not technically his, because as it says, it was completed by Richard Preston, and I'm not familiar with that author, so I won't comment, but it is author's fiction and creativity that we are going to be rambling about today. Hopefully a little bit more focused than a ramble, but I do like the kind of, ununiformed, uninhibited flow. So let's get right into it. Michael Crichton is a very unique kind of author, and I want to explore why exactly that is. If you're not familiar with Michael Crichton, which is something that is a bit odd given his immense influence on the culture through things like Jurassic Park and E.R., well, that's what he did, Jurassic Park, E.R., a lot of these great novels, including The Great Train Robbery. He was born in the 1940s, I believe 1942, and he completed a medical degree at Harvard University. Before that, he did some anthropology, so that's where he kind of got his scientific chops, which he later used to great effect to pen these works of speculative fiction, science fiction, what have you, the techno-thriller. And his father was in publishing or writing of some sort, so all of these elements are just coming together. And it's not just uniquely a Crichton phenomenon. You know, these authors like Verne and Conan Doyle, they also seem to have this kind of impetus. And I think aside from the technical training of Crichton, what makes great fiction, great sci-fi, is the feel for classic themes, which today is possibly lost due to the fact that we're just processing information too quickly. As soon as we put our ideas up, they are reviewed and we iterate, and there's not a great enough refractory period where we can kind of sit with an idea and digest it. Also, less long-form reading, etc. So, I was thinking, am I not giving newer authors a fair shake? I read a book by my namesake, or not my namesake, that's not the right way to word that. Somebody who shares my last name, Weir, I forget the first name, and Andy Weir, he wrote a book called Hail Mary, which was a sci-fi, space-based kind of thing, and it's very good. But again, he is somebody who's older, perhaps not as old as Michael Crichton, but he would be more steeped in that sort of more in-depth processing of information. And the way that we interact with information is actually something that Michael Crichton touched upon, which in an interview with Charlie Rose or some such other program in the 90s or early 2000s, he talked about how people behave differently on camera. And hey, I'm on camera right now. We're all on camera all the time. We're on Facebook. And so what does that do to the way that we form ideas, that we come to a grasp of the world, and how does that feed back into our creative endeavors and into our interactions? I think that is definitely something that has affected the quality of creativity, for better or for worse, or a combination of those elements. And, in terms of understanding what goes into making great fiction, and Crichton kind of helped us out quite a bit there, because he wrote an introductory essay for one of Conan Doyle's works, and I think there's definitely some influence that he got from Doyle. The Lost World, which Michael Crichton also wrote a book called The Lost World, was a Sir Arthur Conan Doyle novel about dinosaurs. The Lost World was about dinosaurs. One was discovering the lost, the other one was genetically engineered. So, yeah. Let us read this paragraph from that essay. And Holmes' cases are filled with the exotic and bizarre. Deadly trained snakes, ancient curses, dart-blowing dwarves, mask-wearing children, rooms with crushing walls. A supernatural aura floats over many of the tales. unworldly forces are frequently evoked, as in the Hound of the Baskervilles, to always explained away in the end. And so I think that Crichton himself uses this strategy because if you look at the book Sphere, which is a Michael Crichton novel, he kind of merges this psychic speculation and these cosmic portents of this alien technology. And it's all done through the lens of the protagonist, who's a psychologist, which lends it kind of this air of plausibility because of, not to give anything away plot-wise, but there's these psychic manifestations, and then also within that, there is a kind of a layer of setting, very realistic setting of how to survive in a deep sea environment as a researcher. And so you have this technological possibility with, you're already doing it on the human level, and then the speculative level with the alien tech, and it all just kind of comes together to make plausible the completely speculative. And H.P. Lovecraft also commented on something to this effect. H.P. Lovecraft is another great American author, more in the realm of like cosmic horror than Michael Crichton's techno thrillers, but essentially working with the same elements of the fantastic. And his strategy, just like Crichton's, and just like Crichton's citing in Doyle, is to go ahead and make things appear believable. Like he would have a prosaic character, some farmer, and then there'd be like a degenerative process in some backwoods family, but it would be linked to like an ancient cult. And so you have all of these plausible but fantastic elements weaving together. Now again, this is not anything particularly earth-shattering. It's kind of a realization that most people would come to their own, but once you look into it and you read something like Crichton's essay, the depth to which he understood that and the way that it's applied in their works, you get a really great appreciation for it and just how darned difficult it is. And so what do you folks think? Do you think that fiction has gotten worse, better, the same? And if so, is there a way to start applying these elements that I've just mentioned again to kind of deviate away from the current trend of a lot of these reboots and remakes? Or am I even giving these new authors a fair shake? Because I am somebody that has kind of stayed in a little bubble of my favorite authors and kind of consumed too much short-form content, which is another reason why I'm kind of making these videos and starting to read these longer-form works again. So hopefully that was a little bit of food for thought. This is all that I could produce today. I'm doing more detailed video essay projects around the same topic, and that obviously requires a lot of reading and things. So hopefully this is good as a teaser and as food for thought, as I think I've already just mentioned. Feel free to comment below. Thanks so much for listening, and take care.
So you like original, eclectic, multimedia content? Well, you're on the right channel. But it's pretty hard to do that. I had to climb Mount Avante Garde to acquire the Sacred Glove of Avant. It's very, very floppy and impotent and doesn't particularly like day jobs, which is why the only way that it can be used to stay the hand of boredom is through your subscription and your comments and your likes. And also, even more powerfully, consider donating to the Subscribestar or the Patreon, as is your good pleasure. Thanks so much. I have a website called thefractaljournal.com where you'll find all kinds of stories, and stay tuned here for more videos, as well as check out my SoundCloud. Much love, and cheers. Avante!
Trickle dance, trickle dance, trickle dance. Oh!